It's my honor to introduce Itan from NAC. I'll let you explain a little bit more about the organization. Great, there you go. You want three? But I've known Itan for a number of years, and he's a great, wonderful, articulate voice regarding Iran and what's going on there and the Iranian-American situation. So it's really an honor to have you say a few words about the organization and where we're heading, where we're at. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thanks so much for having me here. As Anthony said, my name is Itan Mubarak. I'm the organizing manager at NIAC, the National Iranian American Council. We're the largest and the oldest grassroots Iranian American organization in the country. We're a nonprofit. We are nonpartisan, but we let everyone have it. And the issues that we mainly focus on, very timely, preventing war with Iran, and not just preventing and criticizing war, but advocating for diplomacy, for negotiations, for the only pathway to peace. We're also very involved on issues of civil rights and immigration and human rights in Iran and everywhere else. We just also happen to include the human right to not be bombed, not be invaded, not be occupied in those issues. You know, and that's not often the case on Iranian issues, especially in DC.
Right.
So I also want to just thank Veterans for Peace for all the great work y'all are doing. Really, thank you so much. Your voice is critical in work in New York and around the country, everywhere. I was really glad to march with Anthony and some other folks this weekend in Philadelphia with one of the larger assembly of veterans that I've seen in my lifetime. That was a real privilege. I'll talk a bit about what we're advocating for right now, and want to hit on the theme of today's gathering, the extent of illegality of the Iran war. I want to talk on 3 levels of why it's illegal, where we're focusing on, what some of the good lawmakers are pushing. We still have a few of them, and even if they're not great all the time, we try and hold them, when they're good, to stay good on that issue. They're not great on everything. If you agree with a politician on everything, you got some problems.
You probably have a mental problem.
Yeah, that's right. But just to take a step back at the costs of the Iran war, let alone the civilian costs, over 3,000 people killed in this round and 1,000 killed in the June war, absolutely horrific. And the generational damage to infrastructure in that country, the bombing of bridges, the bombing of hospitals, the bombing of one of the major pharmaceutical production sites, the Pasteur Institute, for a country that's been sanctioned and cannot import medicine. That is extreme. And of course, the bombing of schools. Every university in Iran reportedly took some damage. And on the first day of the war, the tragic bombing of the Minab Girls Elementary School goes down in history as one of the worst crimes committed by the United States in decades. Killing 168 people, most of them children between the ages of 7 and 12. An absolute horrible crime. And I'll get into some of the legal action, legal steps for accountability that are trying to be waged on that. But even just the war itself, no president, as a result of many of your efforts and advocacy and tireless blood, sweat, and tears in response to the Vietnam War, because of the War Powers Resolution passed in Congress, no president has the right to declare war on another country without the American people's approval and the People's House, Congress, approving that. And for the first time ever, now 3 months late, but they passed it, there's been a passage of a concurrent resolution in the House of Representatives to declare war on Iran and hostilities illegal. There was a passage of a similar measure in the Senate. Trump pressured those folks and got them to flip afterwards. So folks like my organization, most of my colleagues, we're a smaller organization, we run on volunteers. Most of my colleagues are in DC, I'm our only staffer in New York, but we got people here. We got about 5,000 members in New York, 75,000 members nationwide. And even the folks in tough red states like Louisiana had been pushing for the passage of that bill, and unfortunately Trump got Cassidy, the senator there, to flip. Boo. I'll take a boo on that. We could shame on that. Yeah, we could shame.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, progress is slow and the struggle is long, and we will continue to push it. And even a win in one chamber is a win, especially in a Congress with this fascist president and a Republican-controlled House and a Republican-controlled Senate, where we can get a win legally that states that this war was illegal, is illegal, and will continue to be illegal is a win. And we're going to hold on to that and keep pressing for accountability. So on the one end, that war powers resolution is significant, and there's more work to be done on that. Going on, let's talk about Hegseth, Secretary of War Crimes. Hegseth. Psycho. Absolutely. Absolute idiot, psycho, drunkard. I can't say enough bad words about him, but
I can.
What I would say is that some of the statements he's made about the conduct of war, specifically about rules of engagement, calling them stupid, saying that he prefers lethality over legality in his public statements, those are obscene.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't like everything. I can't like everything members of Congress do, but we have pushed for some public calls for accountability. Now, there was a bill passed in 2022 by two folks, Andy Kim from New Jersey, senator, who was a veteran himself, I believe, and Sarah Jacobs in the House in San Diego, which houses a large number of veterans in her community. And it's no coincidence that the two of them helped pass a bill in 2022 to establish the Center for Civilian Protections. They call it the Center of Excellence. And it was staffed by about 10 folks who would vet target lists. That office was decimated by Hegseth at the end of last year. Didn't make much public news. But there's been a whistleblower, a veteran member of that office, a fellow named Wes Bryant, who's been going out publicly, you can look him up, saying that because Hegseth got rid of that office, because he cut those people from their jobs to vet targets, the Minab Elementary School was bombed.
Wow.
And there's been only one, I believe there's only one person left in that office, then tasked to vet something like 30,000 target sites. That's an impossible job. No one could possibly do that unless they use artificial intelligence.
Yep.
And of course, all these big companies, Anthropic, Palantir, Elon Musk's Grok, they all beat their chest. They're very proud to have participated in the target selection on Iran. Targets that included schools and hospitals and bridges. Now, thankfully, as of this week, it took a while, but as of this week, some members of Congress, 10 of them, led by Elizabeth Warren, wrote a letter. Now, it's just a letter, but it's in the record, calling out the Pentagon for getting rid of this center, for abandoning our basic American standards of decency, that when you go to war, you vet what you strike. And I can tell you that I myself and all of our members in our organization, and I imagine in yours, in other words, are going to keep pressing for accountability for this process until it's ended, until we have changes. Perhaps it won't happen under this administration, but everyone who steps up to run for president in 2028, when they're on that campaign stage, has to be asked this question. How are you going to be vetting military targets? Are you going to allow unmanned autonomous AI to select your targets without a human input? Because even the reporting suggests that an analyst 6 years ago, or several years ago, said that that was a school, and that report didn't make it into the target. We need people making these decisions, not soulless large language models, not artificial intelligence that cannot replicate, cannot do what human beings can do. So that's another issue, the war powers and the basic rules of engagement standards. And the last thing I'll say is about the investigation into that bombing. Now, I got my thoughts about Senator Gillibrand.
Yes.
I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
But after she was pressed to ask questions about the Minot bombing, she did. She asked General Bradley Cooper before a Senate hearing, was this target vetted? Did you use AI to select the target? What steps are you going to take to make sure this doesn't happen again? And now there is a new campaign that NIAC is pushing, that a lot of our members are pushing, to release the Minot school investigation. Because Mr. Cooper, General Cooper, when he was on that stage, said, we are doing an investigation. That civilian protection is a passion of mine. That's what he said. That's the words he said. Now, when Trump was asked about this a few weeks ago, he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know about an investigation. I'll refer you to Pete. Tries to shift the blame on Hegseth. Hegseth happy to take it. But all this piles up to shit. I'll take it. It's shit. It's shit until we can get accountability. We have to keep driving the questions of war crimes, of the use of AI, and of clear and apparent disregard for our laws. We got to uphold our laws.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. And so I'll just close now with where we're at in this Iran war. After all this damage and destruction, we are set in a moment with this memorandum of understanding. Tentative ceasefire is really what it is. It's not a deal. It's an agreement to end the war. And you see a lot of Democrats attacking it, trying to score political points, trying to criticize the war justifiably, and then also trying to close political space for the only option that isn't war. The only option is negotiation. And if we bomb $300 billion worth of infrastructure in Iran, we should come up with a plan to rebuild it. Meanwhile, Schumer is trying to lie to all of us.
Oh, he's a total.
He's a liar, trying to say that money's coming out of our pocket, out of American taxpayer pocket. That's a lie. The Memorandum of Understanding just says that the United States should organize channels with regional partners, with private companies, to invest in Iran, to try and build back the bridges, the schools, the hospitals, the pharmaceutical plants that we blowed up. And frankly, that's a good way to rebuild trust after we chose to bomb them through the course of not one, but two negotiations, when they were at the negotiating table, ready to relinquish nuclear enrichment. And sanctions relief. Why is sanctions relief being portrayed as a bad thing? Sanctions, we've been trying maximum pressure sanctions on Iran for 40 years. And what has it done? It's crushed the economy. It's enriched the folks in power. The IRGC, the supreme leader, people really connected to power, they can skirt sanctions. They can find ways around it. They can create a black market for a product line that ordinary Iranians can't access in the rest of the world. The best thing we could do for ordinary people is relieve sanctions, is eliminate them so they can connect with the world, so they can import medicine, so they can travel to see their loved ones, so they can attend university and exchange the beautiful, vibrant culture and people in that country. So that's what we're advocating for at NIAC. We're advocating for diplomacy first, an end to war, and opening up pathways for engagement. Because my father fled from Iran. He fled and found refuge here in the United States. And now we have a travel ban on Iran. We have a ban on processing of visas. We have a ban on people applying for immigration benefits. There's few young people here in New York who are students at Columbia University studying engineering and science and medicine. And I know that they have job offers in the United States. They came here, they work hard, they're not political. We've had to bend over backwards just to get them to be able to have a visa adjustment while they have the job offer in hand, while a company wants to give them a gig. So these are very, very basic rights towards civil rights, human rights, equitable, legal immigration in this country that we're going to keep fighting for, and I know you all stand for them. I really appreciate you holding this space for folks, and just know that you have an ally in me and in our organization and around this country. The warmongering people in DC, the handful and very loud group of very traumatized Iranian Americans, some of them who do still support the monarchy, do not represent the majority of the community. They are loud, but they don't represent the majority of people. And we have polling to back it up. So we may disagree on the margins of all sorts of things, but I think most people agree on most things. They want to live in peace, they want to live in dignity, they want to be able to travel and study and take care of their families and keep money in their pocket. So I want to thank you so much. And if you ever want to find more information, just check out National Iranian American Council, NIACOUNCIL.org. We've got a lot of resources for you. We have a human rights tracker. We have an Iran Unfiltered newsletter. We have an email list. We put out statements every day, and we're on social media. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.